রঘুনাথ পতিত পাবন। কাহা মোর ভট্ট যুগ, কাহা কবিরাজ। কাহা মোর ভট্ট যুগ, কাহা কবিরাজ। এককালে কোথা গেলা গোরা নট রাজ। এককালে কোথা গেলা গোরা নট রাজ। পাষাণে কুটিব মাথা, অনলে পশিব। পাষাণে কুটিব মাথা, অনলে পশিব। গৌরাঙ্গ গুণের নিধি, কোথা গেলে পাব। গৌরাঙ্গ গুণের নিধি, কোথা গেলে পাব। সেসব সঙ্গীর সঙ্গে যে কইল বিলাস। সেসব সঙ্গীর সঙ্গে যে কইল বিলাস। সে সঙ্গ না পাইয়া কাঁদে নরোত্তম দাস। সে সঙ্গ না পায়া কাঁদে নরোত্তম দাস। যে আনিল প্রেম ধন করুণা প্রচুর, হেন প্রভু কোথা গেলা আচার্য ঠাকুর। দয়াল বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর, বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর, বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর, দয়াল বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর। দয়াল আচার্য ঠাকুর, বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর, আচার্য ঠাকুর, দয়াল বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর। প্রভুপাদ, 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 প্রভুপাদ। প্রভুপাদ।
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Stabhutale Sunti Bhakti Vedanta Swandi Namaya Nastasis Devi Garvanim Charina Sesha Sunyavadi Pastrati. So I'll be brief. I'm going to read two readings from God brothers who are not living in India, and then I'll say something for myself. Oh, is that loud enough? Okay, anyway, I better get started because there's a lot of, we don't have that much time. Okay, first I'm going to speak on behalf of Gopi Janaba Prabhu. Him and his wife, Gopi Priya Mataji, live in Vrindavan, but they're, hello? Oh, it's not loud enough? Oh, okay. So first I will speak on behalf of my friend Gopi Janabalab and his wife Gopi Priya Mataji, who are out of station. He says, first of all, I thank Krishnamurti Prabhu for introducing Pankajnabha Das to me 3 years back when he arrived in Vrindavan for his last journey to Krishna's abode to join Prabhupada in his seva. I'll skip the Krishnamurti part. Pankajnabha Das was a soft-spoken and a dedicated servant of Srila Prabhupada. He was a thorough gentleman and straightforward. I got attracted to him because of his qualities. Although he was a Prabhupada disciple, he treated me as a friend and exchanged sweet memories of his association with Srila Prabhupada and his God brothers and God sisters in New York Temple and in South Carolina, where he was based before he arrived in Vrindavan. Let's see. It says, both me and my wife, Gopi Priya Mataji, got to do seva for him. He was suffering from cystic fibrosis, and he knew well that he would be leaving soon. But he was here for 3 years. Krishna let him stay for 3 years. He was blessed by Radharani and Krishna in the holy Dham of Vrindavan, and he was thankful that he survived here so long. Sincerely, Gopi Janabala Prabhu and Gopi Priya Mataji. Next one is from my god brother Kaliya Krishna Prabhu, who lives in Alachua. Krishnamurti Prabhuji informed us that our dearest Pankajnabha Prabhu has left our vision in Vrindavan Dham. His servant Jaganivas Prabhu from Argentina informed us that he chanted Krishna, Krishna, Krishna 3 times, and then he left. Pankajnabha was a gentleman of the highest caliber. He joined Prabhupada's movement in New York in the early 70s. He preached extensively in Costa Rica, where he was born, and the adjacent Central American countries. He was an excellent cook who got to cook for our Srila Prabhupada, a highly cultured devotee with a witty intelligence and a meek demeanor. He was the real deal. He will be missed by all of us, but only for a short time, because we'll be together again. And that's from Kaliya Krishna Prabhu and his wife, Kalindi Mataji. And now my very short reading. Pankajnabha, we were together at the Henry Street Temple in Brooklyn. I didn't have too much interaction with him then, but he was always a wonderful, very nice gentleman. He'd go on Harinam, he'd cook. As a matter of fact, when Srila Prabhupada was there in 73, he made some sweet rice for Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada liked it very much. Also, Srila Prabhupada asked him to make some halava for him, and Srila Prabhupada gave Pankajnabha the recipe. He made it, and Srila Prabhupada was very happy with that too. He was an excellent cook. Anyway, I want to say that it's very rare to find anyone in this material world who is in the mode of goodness. But Pankajnabha Prabhu was in the mode of goodness. He was a gentleman throughout. And in all circumstances, as much as he was suffering and all, he was equipoised, he was peaceful, he was calm, and he's a classic example of someone in the mode of goodness. It's rare, but he was one of them. And he used to tell me when I go visit him, especially recently, he had a witty sense of humor. So he would say to me, "You're a nonsense." And I was a little resentful because of my false ego sometimes, but I realize now, after the fact, that it was simply Krishna, through him, pushing me to stop being so proud of myself, like I'm somebody special. So he would say like that, and he always asked me, he said, "Please call me Punkapad." So it was our little private joke. So when I'd call him, I'd say, "Is this Punkapad?" Yes, and we would talk, and he was a very wonderful devotee. I can't say enough good things about him, and I'll end there. Whoever is next, please come now. Hare Krishna.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavari Paschatya Deshatarine. So when we heard that Pankajnabha had left his body, we informed the devotees who were close to him in America, and 3 of them have sent their offerings to him. So we're going to read them. This is from Tosan Krishna Prabhu. He used to be one of the presidents of the New York temple that Pankajnabha served under. So it's not working. Oh.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namane Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Pankajnabha Prabhu Ki Jai. Janaba Prabhu was my friend in Krishna consciousness. That means a lot. That you can have many kinds of friends, but a friend in Krishna consciousness, that's a very special person. Because anytime I was with Pankajnabha in New York, particularly, that's where we served together, he was always, frankly, a shelter. Yes, he was. Because he was always very upbeat, and he only spoke Krishna Katha. Whenever you were with Pankajnabha, there was no Gramya Katha, it was always Krishna Katha. And that's a very special person. There's an expression, who would you want to be in a foxhole with? Foxhole means if you're in a battle, literally a firefight with armies, and you have to get into a tight situation where with a few people who you have to depend on. I would want Pankajnabha there. I would want him there. Because he would always see the good thing. He would always see the positive in any event. I might be grousing, I might be upset. He wasn't. He was always upbeat. Even though I was actually his temple president for a while in New York City, I would always consider him fantastic association. And later I met him in Florida. He was down there, and then I also went to Costa Rica with my son, and we visited him because he was staying with his family, taking care of his elderly parents. That is where he is from, Costa Rica. And he took us around in a very friendly way, and I was very happy that my son could get his association. And then I was surprised to find him in Vrindavan Dham, and he knew that he was, but again, always upbeat, always. And we went together to Govardhan, Radha Kund, Krishna Kund, that is to say Sham Kund, and we had a wonderful experience together, chanting bhajans and taking shelter.
There's more.
So having circumambulated the various places and gone to the temples of Radhakund and Shamkund, and sprinkling the water and dipping, finally Pankajnabha Prabhu said, now I am ready to leave my body. So it was a glorious day. All glories to Pankajnabha.
So that's Tosan Krishna. And now we have Hansarupa.
Dear Pankajnabha Prabhu, please accept my respectful, humble obeisances. All glories to our beloved spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. I remember our conversations recently when I visited you in your flat. While I was there also helping Sevananda Prabhu, along with our dear God sisters, Mahadevi and Daivi Shakti. I was very happy to see you again, my old friend. We shared so many memories from our time together in 55th Street, Henry Street, and later New Ramanreti, when I was there and you took shelter of their Lordship Sri Shigwanitai. It seems that we survived long enough to witness many things, but the constant is that you always remained attached to Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet. I can remember your great enthusiasm meeting Srila Prabhupada at the airport and having opportunities at various times to serve him. And I especially remember with fondness how you came to me in Philly in '75 after you had gone inside to receive your Gayatri mantra and sacred thread. And when you came out, you said, Prabhupada told you that you were not ready, and how upset you were. And I remember that it didn't seem that there was anything wrong, but then you explained that you couldn't understand how Prabhupada was counting on his fingers. So then we immediately found, I think it was Gopi Janaba Prabhu, to make sure you could understand things clearly, what to be done. And of course, then you went back in and came out with your big bright smile. And from that point on, you were almost a constant fixture in the Henry Street kitchen. So it's another day for us to rejoice, in one sense, for your rejoining all of our God brothers and God sisters. And I will just cherish the times we spent together and hope that you remember to save a place for me, like we used to save each other places to sleep on the floor in Henry Street. Okay, I'll sign off for now. All glory to your service.
I don't know if you understood the last part. At the Henry Street Temple, there were so many devotees who had joined. We had no beds, we had no bedding. After we would come back from Sankirtan and doing our services, wherever we could find a space on the floor, we would just lie down. And if you had a good friend, he would save you a space on the floor next to him to sleep. That was and there was no heat, and this is New York, freezing cold. So the next one is from Rasatala, who also joined on Henry Street, and he wanted to make an offering to Pankajnabha, who was his dear friend. Okay. All glories to Pankajnabha Das. Dear Pankajnabha, I was visiting you at Prabhupada Village, North Carolina, as you were preparing to move to Vrindavan. Having a chronic lung problem, you were moving to Vrindavan to drop your body in the holy Dham, hearing Krishna's name. You have such faith in Krishna and love for Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for being my friend. I love and miss you. You said to me, Radha and Krishna are looking after us, protecting us. When I heard of your departure a few days ago, I felt bereft of a dear lifelong friend. I immediately bowed down to Mother Earth and paid you my respects. The first time I met you was before we both moved into the Brooklyn Temple in 1973. I was leaving a Sunday love feast when one of the devotees gifted me with a small flower garland. It was mostly carnations with 3 roses interspersed. My mind, unrelated to any facts, suggested to me that the number of roses in my garland signified the number of lifetimes I'd spent serving Krishna. Leaving the temple that evening, I met a young man from Costa Rica who told me, that's Pankajnabha, the first time I went to the ashram, they gave me a garland that went all the way to my knees with 100 roses. You've been serving many lifetimes, I said, truly impressed. We laughed about it together. That man, whose name was Pankajnabha, became a close, lifelong friend. We both moved into the temple that summer around the same time. As I explained to my still resistant family, I knew that Srila Prabhupada was getting older, and I wanted the opportunity to study under him while I could. I was ready to surrender and give my whole life to God. My mom, bless her heart, drove me to the Krishna temple on July 20th, 1973, and I stayed for 13 years. So this New York temple where Rasatala, Krishnamurti, and Pankajnabha all joined. So many devotees joined there. And that was where I knew Pankajnabha also, but not directly because he was a brahmachari. He was the cook. And every day we would, while out on Sankirtan, we would get one meal. They would drive it out to us. So I really appreciated him, even though sometimes in the prasadam we would find some transcendental cockroaches. But still we appreciated the cooks, and we appreciated all the devotees who would take the trouble to bring us prasadam. And then at night they would make us, when we would come home, they would make us a laddu this big. That would be our dinner. So we depended very much on those transcendental cooks, and actually they saved our lives while we were all there together, growing up at the Brooklyn Temple on Henry Street. And then we all went our different ways. And then all of a sudden, Pankajnabha showed up here one day, and he told me, I've come here to die. And I said, oh, I've heard that from so many devotees, and then they just get better, and we don't see them again. I said, it's not that easy to die in Vrindavan. You have to be ready. So at first he didn't believe me because he thought that he was going to die at any minute. But Krishna doesn't work that way. Yeah, it took him 3 years to get ready. And actually he started to get better physically even at some point. And he kept saying, oh, you cursed me. I came here to die, and now it's just going on and on. But this is the way it is with Krishna. He makes sure that you're ready before you give up this material world. And Pankajnabha, then the day he died, he gave me a call, and he said, I can't breathe. He said, what was I going to do? I immediately called Saranga Thakur because he knew how to do all this stuff. Saranga Thakur called Shyama Sundar. Shyama Sundar said, well, I just gave him two tanks. Maybe there's something wrong. Shyama Sundar run over. There's a whole amazing backup team here. Jainatai and Jaganivas Prabhu. They're saving so many devotees' lives by the service that they do. We don't realize it until the last minute. So they all ran over and took it as an emergency. Mahabahu was there. They made sure that Pankajnabha wasn't alone at any time during his whole sickness. They all had shifts to take care of him, and he had to be on a cylinder of oxygen all the time. He would show up once in a while when he was able to walk, but he had these 3 years to really prepare his consciousness. And those of us who have been dragging on here for so many years, it's not because we're doing anything special, it's because we're not ready to go back to Godhead, and we should realize that. And then these fortunate devotees, some of them, they come, and within a day or two, they're able to immediately go back to Godhead. So we have to see this as a lesson for ourselves. We have to prepare ourselves to be 100% Krishna consciousness. and then follow these devotees back to Godhead so that we can serve again at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. I thank you very much. Hare Krishna. I don't have it. Oh, you sent it to me? Okay. There's another offering. You sent it on WhatsApp? Okay, this is from Mahadevi. Srila Prabhupada's warrior, a soul so bright, Pankajnabha Prabhu, serving Prabhupada's mission with all his might. Through challenges and racial tests, he stood tall and strong. A disciple of Srila Prabhupada, his heart belonged. He fought against the odds with determination true, a beacon of hope for me and for you. With every breath he served with unwavering faith. His love for Prabhupada's mission, forever unshakable and great. Though we may stumble and our habits may stray, Pankajnabha Prabhu would encourage us to stay with Prabhupada's way. Through challenges he navigated with grace, breaking down barriers depending on divine grace. With humility and love, he rose above the fray, and living to exemplify a transcendental way. To persevere, to push on through joy and through pain, to fix our gaze on Prabhupada and Krishna will never be in vain. In Vrindavan's sacred land, he took his final breath. Surrounded by love, his soul found eternal wealth. Let us remember this shining example true and strive to follow in the footsteps of great Vaishnavas such as Pankajnabha Prabhu. May his legacy live on and inspire us all. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all his disciples. All glories to Jaganivas Prabhu, who took care of him in Vrindavan for 3 years till his final breath. Thank you very much, Prabhus. Where's Jaganivas? Come.
Hare Krishna. Panchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanivya vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. All glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. First of all, I want to thank the devotee care, Jainitai Prabhu, who gave me the most blessed opportunity to serve Pankajnabha Prabhu and many other of Prabhupada disciples. I just want to make a brief correction that I stayed with Pankajnabha Prabhu for 18 months. I started serving him in September 2022. So it was not 3 years, but almost a little bit more than 1.5 years. Pankajnabha Prabhu was originally from Costa Rica, so we both speak Spanish, so we will communicate in a very natural way. Central America people have a very sweet way of speaking, as from South America, which are a little bit more passionate. So he will speak very softly and very quiet way. So in that way, Pankajnabha was like a gentleman in his way of expressing himself. And he has a very simple heart. He used to tell me, have you heard the birds chirping? It's so nice. You know, it's just, he was happy just with the simple things. Can you see the color of this flower? It's just so nice. And it was simple statement revealing his simple-hearted. He also he was kind of a psychic. He had this tendency, and he was using it to heal devotees. And one time he told me that he met Indra Prabhu in New York. I don't remember what was the time. And Indra Prabhu had pneumonia. So he said, oh, I know something for you. So he got some medicines from the natural store. So gave to Indra Prabhu to get better for him going on his Sankirtan mission. And during his life also, he had met with personalities like Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj in Washington. They were serving together. So he told me, Ganesham, yes, Ganesham Prabhu at that time. And he told me many stories. He always was attracted to the mysteries and the occult of the world. So we used to spend time, as I also like, about lost civilizations and how everything was connected to the Mahabharata stories. So we spend our time in this way. One thing I would like to share is that one time he had a dream about he was in the temple in his dream, and in the corridor through the I think it was the kitchen to the temple, someone was chanting loudly, very clearly, the holy names, the Mahamantra Hare Krishna. So he, in his dream, kind of was surprised. Who is there chanting at that time? It was like night, late at night. So when he came there, he saw that it was Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was going through, and he was chanting, and he was like, Prabhupada, and Prabhupada went through that corridor, and he left. Suddenly, like, he could not see him anywhere. And later on that day, he got the news that Prabhupada left this world. So he was very happy to know that his connection with his spiritual master was there, and he even knew that Prabhupada was leaving. So we are going to miss the association of Pankajnabha Prabhu. He came here with one single-minded to leave his body in Vrindavan. As Daivi Shakti Mataji was saying, Krishna prepared him for his departure during this time. And one thing he was sure, and he has his whole faith on, it was on the mercy and the care of the Vaishnavas. He said, that's the only thing I'm sure about. I'm just surrender to the care of the Vaishnavas, and with their mercy I will be able to achieve what is in my heart. So I thank all the devotees who made this possible. His god brothers. Pankajnabha joined when he was 18 or 19 years old. So he gave his life to Prabhupada, to this movement, and he gave us hope to all of us. He told me, I'm not a great devotee, I'm not a big gun, as they used to say among the Prabhupada disciples, and I'm not a big gun, I'm a very ordinary people, I'm very simple, but seeing the way he left this world, it gives us hope that even ordinary and simple people like us, we have the chance to meet with the ultimate goal of life. Hare Krishna.
Panchakopatarubhascha kripasindu sindhu cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. It was 3 years. Huh? I was thinking last year he came. Krishnamurti, Dhritarashtra, myself, we would be sitting here in the back of the temple every day before greeting the deities. It became like a little club, some friends. None of us, I didn't know Krishnamurti very well. I didn't know Dhritarashtra. It took time before I was accepted into that crowd. Want to know where? Oh, you think like I do. Krishnamurti, he's always very eager to have his godbrothers come to Vrindavan. We were hoping we would get more and more chairs. It never looks like it's going to get more than 3. It's like you sit in that chair, it's a death sentence when you come and sit there. And I remember him saying, Pankajnabha, I don't know, I didn't know him. I have to say I didn't know him. For 50 years, I never knew him. And he said, he's coming here to die. What a perfection. It's perfection. It's what Srila Prabhupada designed. It was by design. Srila Prabhupada wanted his disciples, come here to die. You work your whole life, you do service, you come to Vrindavan to leave your body. So 3 years ago, I was thinking it was just a year or so ago. But I remember him coming. He was, back in those days, as soon as I saw him, I thought, he's very cool. Pankajnabha, he was very cool and very nicely dressed. And as Jananivas Prabhu was saying, just a very sweet person. I think cystic fibrosis, I think that was the disease of the lungs. So breath was always something. Dhritarashtra as well was breath. That his breathing was being taken away. But he was always so pleasant. In the beginning, he would be here in the morning, but that didn't last very long as he went through different struggles. And I got to know him a little bit, and as others have said, always Krishna conscious. He didn't talk any nonsense. He would talk nice devotional life. I posted something when it happened. Somebody said he was, one of the things he was known for, they said he made the best halava that you could ever have. I believe it was even blueberry halava or something. So he satisfied many, many devotees, as Daiva Shakti also said, by feeding them. Such an importance.
He was preparing the kheer for the deities.
The kheer.
One time Prabhupada came to the temple, so he had the Mahaprasadam, he asked for more, and then he asked, who is cooking this? And it was Pankajnabha.
So even Prabhupada was taking the Mahaprasadam and he asked for more. That's very wonderful. And it was Pankajnabha Prabhu that had cooked it. So such a wonderful service in nourishing the devotees. And he did that in every way. He nourished. I was so happy to hear how you said he came from Costa Rica. That's what I remember. Very, very, just very sweet, very pleasant, very simple. And devotee is simple. Whatever he may do in his preaching work, he may appear very dynamic, but underneath, very simple. I say that about Srila Prabhupada. Very simple, childlike. I saw that with all the wonderful devotees, Bhakti Churu Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Maharaj. So much he did, but simple. Happy, just offering Haratik to Krishna Balaram. So Pankajnabha Prabhu, it was simple. This is our goal. Not looking after anything. Just want to do a little service. That's what Prabhupada said. We just want to do a little service for Krishna. We're never thinking we're very big, important people. Who is important in front of the Supreme Personality? Who is important? So I had, even here, sometimes you would usually see him late in the morning. Sometimes he would come, you would find him here. Just pleasant, a smile. He would give his greetings, very pleasant, in a nice Krishna conscious way, always happy to say something very nice and devotional to you, inspire you, make you feel grateful to have his company. And of course, I'm sure it's been mentioned already how he left, his final words, he just said Krishna, 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 in his final breath. And as Prabhu was saying, the team that we have here, remarkable, devotee care. We say there are many unknown heroes behind the scenes. He came here, Pankajnabha, he came here, he surrendered. I think he might have been in 4 or 5 different flats while he was here. He was moving one place, the next place, the next place. But he was always pleasant. Never seemed, whatever happened, it was okay. He didn't stress over it. His mentality was very sweet. So I was happy to get to know him in these final years of his life here, a lifetime of service. I was in New York Temple a little bit, in 71, 72, 73. I was initiated there and in and out. But I saw him in the picture one day, Srila Prabhupada arriving. That was New York at the temple, over on the side. Of course, and he would stand out wherever he was. Very bright. He was the epitome of what they would say, bright-faced devotees. He was bright-faced devotee. He gave everything to Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada, very, very kind. He never forgets. Those that do a little bit of service, they see Prabhupada never forgets. So he was there, I'm sure. So he's blessed. It's always when these things happen, I see it always, devotees say, the decade of tears. I think in the last 3-4 days, 4 devotees, our God brothers, God sisters, every day, one day, 2 devotees on. So, but this is the natural sequence of events. But still, we find it almost amazing, astonishing when someone leaves. But this is all of our fate. So to be here in Vrindavan, to get the association of these people as they're ready to leave, and ourselves to be able to be here is a very great blessing Srila Prabhupada has given us. I marvel sometimes when, for a fraction of a second, I actually get an idea of how amazing it is to be able to be here and do a little bit of service for the Lord, for Prabhupada's deities in Prabhupada's home. How blessed we all are. And the very fortunate ones like Pankajnabha, they get their warning. Yeah. Like he said, he thought he was going to go very quickly, but not so quickly. And that's also the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, that purification process. I see it again and again. People think they're going to leave, but that leaving gets delayed. so you can become more purified, so you're actually ready to take that final step, the final journey back to Srila Prabhupada. So I'm very thankful that I got to know him a little bit towards the end. I know Krishnamurti Prabhu, he's always agitating his godbrothers, come to Vrindavan. I do a little bit too. We do it in our way. What are you doing there in the West? Sitting there, here, there. Come to Vrindavan. Everywhere's a struggle. Vrindavan's not an easy place. I again have my own bronchitis, my own lung issues that seem to be there more and more all the time. But wherever you are, it's difficult. So for us, we should always be very, very grateful that we're able to be here, to be able to spend our days in Vrindavan, do our service in Vrindavan. And we're very, very fortunate to leave these bodies here in Vrindavan. So Pankajnabha Prabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Namo Vishnu Hridaya Krishna Sahaya Tule Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschati Anayane. Many don't know who I am. I'm Shonaka Rishi Das. And we were in San Diego, and Prabhupada gave us permission to go to Costa Rica. So Narayan Prabhu, he had arranged a place there in Costa Rica. And we went by land. In other words, anything we could get, a bus, even if it was a bus with a lot of chickens and everything, we were going for Costa Rica. So we did get there. And then the movement began there in a very small house. It was actually not even our house. It was the house of Divya's mother. And it was so small. So of course, Kalpataru, myself, and others that are Sankirtan devotees, we wanted a better place. So we did all the efforts. You can't imagine, I got to admit, Costa Rica is a Shanti place. I got to admit. But still deported 4 times from Costa Rica. So there was some, and no other religion than Catholic was actually accepted. You could not register. You couldn't even say that you're from another society. So the Jehovah's Witnesses, the Seventh-day Adventists, all of us couldn't get any registration. Then we did collect, and we got a nice place in San Pedro's, near the university. Place was wonderful. But we were missing something. The cook. And the cook is the most important part, I was the pujari. Okay, I'm the pujari. But where's the cook? And one time, Pankajnabha came to the temple. I think it's around 75. Yeah, so he came to the temple, and I'll tell you, the same Pankajnabha that came into Costa Rica, that same Pankajnabha, I was able to see him as the same Pankajnabha in the Krishna, Ramakrishna mission before he left. He was the same. Everything about him was the same. I was just amazed. How can he be like that? It's such a caballero, such a gentleman. Now that other devotees would be complaining to the administration because no money or something like this. I never heard a word from Pankajnabha. I never heard him complain. He was just satisfied with everything. It was nice to be around, and we slept on the floor too, but it wasn't as cold as New York, you know, Costa Rica. So, you know, it's what everybody has said before I'm speaking, I have to repeat the same thing. How he was just such a simple person, not complicated at all, never complaining, and always ready to serve. I never had to ask him for the plate. As a pujari, he always had the plate ready for me. His service was like on time, always on time, and a very pucka way. I didn't see him, even during a big festival and plenty of people would come. I didn't see him telling the brahmacharis to come in and cut vegetables, and he would try to do it all himself. And that's just amazing. He could do that whole system. And I'm saying amazing because in Costa Rica they have all the fruits, all the vegetables, because they got the high points where they get all the apples and everything. They got the low points where they get all the bananas and everything. We had a storehouse. But without the cook, what's the use of the storehouse? So we would, with great enthusiasm, myself and other brahmacharis would go down to the market, and on Sunday, right after 12, before they close it, we would just collect as much boga as we could. And that enthusiasm was because he was going to cook. You know? We weren't fed ladus after the Sankirtan. He was just so much on top of things that he knew when our Sankirtan devotees were coming back in the temple area. He would have the prasadam in pots in the garage waiting for us. You know, just like you're like, amazing. Here he has put everything together himself. He's got it all ready for us. And we just come in and serve ourselves. I can't, hard to see somebody with such a service attitude. Ooh, just hard to see with such a service attitude. Yeah. Too many people are leaving. You cry, and then you cry, and then you cry, and you cry. You're getting Sutikriti says it, you know, there's so many of them leaving. Phew. And so much of that emotion that, you know, they've left within your heart, and you know them. So all I can say is I'm very grateful that I got to meet Pankajnabha. Very grateful. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Chaksurumilitanjana tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devan Gauravani Prachadine Nirvisesa Sunjavadi Paschatya Deshatarine, Banchakal Pataruyascha Kripa Sindhuvacha Patitanam Pavanavyo, Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. I was very lucky to meet the servants of Srila Prabhupada. I was very lucky because I was so small. How old?
9 years old.
I escaped from my parents' house to go to the temple. I remember when I got my japamala, and then my father discovered, oh, in that time, the hippie time, everybody smoking and drinking, rock and roll and everything. But I didn't get any experience of that thing, but my father thinking I am in the new hippie group. So my father broke my mala, he burned my Bhagavad Gita, and then I came to the temple, and I asked Pankajnabha how I can do now for chanting. And he gave me the idea to do the rope for chanting with the nuts. Okay. But again my father discovered and broke this. And then I asked Pankajnabha how to do. And also my father discovered, and he put me tape here to no chanting. And how I can do? And Pankajnabha said, you chanting like Mahaprabhu. But now I remember he was very, accurate to teach me that. But when he got Diksha from Srila Prabhupada, he trembling. And Prabhupada said, no, you are not ready. Come back later. You are not ready to get Diksha. Anyway, Pankajnabha was, like Shonaka said, so kind, I remember I have, the temple president not allowed because I was so small, maybe the temple will be in trouble. So, then I jumped in the wall, remember, in the backyard? And Pankajnabha wait for me like this, you jumping. Come here. And he put me some drop, that the temple president discovered, and he brought me Mahaprasad. And he said, bring the Mahaprasad to your parents, and then I tell you they're going to change. So and after some years, my father became very humble and repent, and say, please, I was very ignorant, please forgive me. And I read Ananda say to Prabhupada this memory about me and say, oh, the new Prahlad. So from the beginning, remember Prahlad. And then after Prabhupada put the name Ramesh Das. So I'm so glad to see in the last moment, a few hours before, I went to visit Pankajnabha, and I told him, you are so lucky. You are so lucky. Prabhupada said to us, preaching hard, working hard, and samadhi in Vrindavan. Samadhi, what means samadhi? Samadhi is to be in union with the Brajavasis, Nanda Maharaj, Yasoda Mai, all the Sakas, Baladev, all the Sakis, Srimati Radharani. So, Janjam Babis Baram Bhavante Antanta Kale Varam. This is the final examination, the final thing. Because for the whole life, preparing his life to serving the devotees, to serving Srila Prabhupada mission, for the final lesson. Like our Prabhupada in the final lesson preached to us, to always Tangnam Arupa Charitadi Sukirtanano, to come to Raj, to enter, and Prabhupada, the first song to teach us was Chakravarti Pad Guru Astakan. So to see Prabhupada in Nikunja Juno Ratikeli Siddhai. So this is the welcome to the family of Brajavasis. So Pankajnabha is also very good lesson for us. We say Krishna, 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 Radharani immediately there, because only the object of Srimati Radharani is Krishna. This is her Samartha Rati, the affection. So Prabhupada came to us to give the matchless gift, like nobody before. Anarpita charichirat karunavartino kalo samarpajitum unnata ujjala rasa swabhakti sijam. So this is the gift, Prabhupada, matchless gift, the first temple matchless gift, this unnata ujjala rasa. All the effort of preaching to give tons and gallons of blood to attract the people to enter the Manovishta, Sri Chaitanya Manovishta. So this is the desire of Prabhupada, to come. Thanks, you encourage God brothers to come here, because I remember I was so young and I heard Prabhupada say this, preaching hard Samadhi in Vrindavan. So by the blessings of all of you, and I'm so glad to see the Prabhupada family and the devotee care, how so much effort to give them suitable final moments to be in bhajan, in concentration, and the association with devotees, the wonderful family, our Srila Prabhupada Jagat Guru, come to us also in the form of very beautiful devotees, like my Srutakirti Prabhu, Shonaka Prabhu, Krishnamurti, all of them. They were my, the Shakti. How so beautiful, my experience for years with Pankajnabha. When he was in Prabhupada village, I sent my Sringar from my Gauranga Radha Krishna from here, and he sent me every day the Gornitai, all the Sringar of Gornitai daily, before he came here. So, and the last few hours before he left, I brought a watermelon, and Gadadhar Priya, he brought the pumpkin seed soup. And Pankajnabha said, left that. I take later. And then with the watermelon, I cutting, and then I offer and take it. I don't know if you have time. But anyway, when he say how the minimum things he appreciated in Vrindavan, if we go into the inside Rasa Shastra, everything, the birds, the colors, all is in Swarup Shakti coming to us, is not ordinary. The birds, the trees, the flowers here in Braj, not ordinary. Also to put our body here in Braja Raj is not ordinary. So that's the most important thing of preaching. The post-graduation, Janjam Bhavis Barambhavante Antiyata Kalevaran. So this is how the encouragement of our Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada to us. The most important is not to preaching to make numbers of the institutions, is to try to collect more servants of Srimati Radharani and the beautiful movement. So we are so glad to have another victory of Srila Prabhupada, the glories of Srila Prabhupada, when his servants say Krishna, 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 and the farewell of this body to enter. I told him the last minute, Pankajnabha, you came here to die, to live. Vancha kalpa taruyascha kripa sindhuvascha patitanam paranyo Vaishnavevyo namo namaha. I am your humble servant, and I think one of the youngest Prabhupada disciples, my name is Ramesh Das. I have another name, but because I'm Babaji. But anyway, I am servant of my God brothers, my God sisters. Please, thank you, Krishnamurti, to invite me, because I spent so many years with him, and so many, everything, contact each other. So thank you so much.